Witch Hat Atelier is a political anime, and if this is news to you, then the spell is working. And before all of you "I don't do politics" people click off or comment below, stick around. You're going to want to hear this. 1. You kinda already do politics, as politics, the word, is a multifaceted word with one of its definitions, Webster 5a to be exact, being the total complex of relations between people living in society. Meaning, if you're a part of society in some way, which you are, you're participating in politics. The word doesn't just relate to government and controversial social issues. But let's keep it easy for now and focus on the governmental/social issues definition, since that's how most people use the word. Because 2. Oh, this opinion's gonna ruffle some feathers. I'm gonna have to sit down for this one. All right. Stories are better the more political they are. Yeah, I said it. From the governmental political themes of One Piece to the social politics in shows like Oregairu, from the anti-patriarchal themes of Ikoku Nikki, all the way to the anti-war themes of Spy Family and Vinland Saga. Also, we can't forget the entire Gundam franchise. So when a manga like Witch Hat hits the anime market, it's weird to me to find people making up some agenda-pushing problem instead of giving the show the praise for its amazing themes, diverse characters that add and build upon the story's themes and are not token characters for brownie points, an amazing power system that I and so many others love the show for. To give some grace, I'm seeing people say that their problems aren't the themes I just listed, but the fact that Witch Hat is not an anomaly. That anime has been including these themes for decades now. And you'd be right. So then what makes Witch Hat Atelier so special? Why is this anime upheld as the golden child of diverse political creativity, and how do these themes included in the show, or any show for that matter, make the story better? Stick around and let me defend my opinion, because to answer that, we have to look at the story of the author herself, the creative process behind this anime and manga, and the story that turns art into magic. This is the creativity of political anime. Sponsored by me. If you like what you see here, like, share, and subscribe. It really helps out small creators like me, and it's completely free. But if you need more convincing, keep watching. I improve myself. I am on the stairs right now to represent the upward climb we have to take in this rapid political society. I'm joking, y'all. I'm joking. I just thought the shot was cool. But first, a disclaimer. I'm going to mention it a lot, but the power system is not the main focus of this video, as I kinda already did that 3 years ago in my last video, so if you want to hear me yap about how well written the power system plays into the story, then go click over there after this one. Instead, we're going to take it all the way back to the beginning and start with the author, Kamome Shirahama. Actually never intended to be a mangaka. Huh. How does that work? Well, after she graduated from the Tokyo University of the Arts with a focus on design, she worked as a freelance illustrator until one day a manga editor approached her at Comitia, a Japanese event for self-published manga and illustrations. And the rest is history. I couldn't find who approached her personally or what company, since she has worked under several publications, but if you know, help a brother out and comment below. Apparently, her illustrations are just that good, and they are. Shirahama's artwork has so much depth and detail in it. The brilliant use of shadows and shading and the scenery she's able to come up with just makes you want to frame everything her pen touches and hang it on your wall. It's looking quite empty. Maybe I should change that. According to Shirahama, she would start with only doing illustrations for the editorial team, but working with them made her seriously consider drawing manga for the first time. And when the offer arrived, she wasted no time. Because, I mean, would you? In 2011, she would publish her first one-shot. That's a one-chapter self-contained manga story that may or may not become a full series, titled Watashi no Koro-chan, or the English title, My Little Noir. Must be an alternate title situation, because with a little Japanese I do know, that is not an accurate translation. Anyway, in 2012, she would publish her second manga. Forgive me as I try my best to pronounce these names correctly. A comedy manga called Inale and Diela, you get it. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. Which will run for 3 volumes, 15 chapters long, and from the looks of it, it looks like an angel and demon comedy. Yeah, I'm gonna need to read this one. Both of those titles were published in Harta, which, if you don't know, is the same magazine that brought us Ruri Rocks, Hino Matsuri, and ironically, Dungeon Meshi. We'll get back to Dungeon Meshi and Witch Hat's relationship later. And people have the audacity to call Shirahama an industry plant. She's been in the game long before Witch Hat, and her work even extends outside of manga, as after her first 2 manga were finished, Shirahama would begin to work for, check this out, Marvel, DC, and Star Wars, doing various covers and concept art, drawing for series like Deadpool, Batgirl, and Birds of Prey. Industry plant! Yet nobody, do your research. However, Shirahama always had a love for fantasy.
Growing up, I read a lot of fantasy and fairy tales. For example, I read Michael Ende's The Never-Ending Story and a lot of Momo. Also, when I was a student, The Lord of the Rings became very big as the movies came out. Fantasy was very trendy for my generation as I was growing up during middle school and high school.
As a fellow fantasy lover myself, I know one when I see one. And Shirahama isn't just cited to be inspired by Western fantasy, but also, of course, Japanese fantasy. More specifically, shoujo fantasy, such as Knights of Elfheim, Crystal Dragon, and several other works by Moto Hagio and Ryoko Yamagishi. And looking into these authors and titles, they all could honestly get their own video, especially Moto Hagio, who is considered to be the most significant artist in the shoujo demographic and has been referred to by critics as the god of shoujo. More research is required here because that is one badass title. But safe to say, Shirahama was inspired by the greats before her, and one of her friends, as a casual conversation with a fellow illustrator sparked the idea that the creation of art is kinda like magic. Alright bro, let's get this done before the deadline. Yeah, I can feel last night's dinner kicking in, so before I gotta go, let's make some magic. Say that again? I gotta shit. After this discussion, Shirahama would run with that idea, developing an entire world, story, and characters around it. And in July 2016, in the seinen manga magazine Morning 2, Shirahama would begin her longest serialization to date in Witch Hat Atelier, which by the recording of this video has 16 volumes and is still going strong and has won over 15 awards since 2018. With its most recent award being the Best Manga Award in the 2025 Harvey Awards. I said awards like 5 times in that last sentence. In other words, it won all of those awards before the anime even aired. Talk about a career-defining manga. This manga is so successful that it's included in a new category that Western fans are calling the Fantasy Big Three. Frieren, Dungeon Meshi, told you we were circling back to Dungeon Meshi, and Witch Hat. The manga and now animes are responsible for spearheading a new wave of fantasy anime that are not isekai slop. Yes, we've had non-isekai fantasy anime titles before, but they were few and far between all the Kirito clones. The popularity of these 3 have seemingly convinced studios to go back to their roots and take a chance on non-isekai fantasy titles. It's the reason we're seeing shows like Clevitas and Sentenced to be a Hero being made, and I bet my lucky nickel, if I had one, that we'll be getting a lot more in the future. I mean, even Kadokawa, one of the largest distributors of anime, came out recently, May 2026, and said, "Hey guys, isekai is not really doing it anymore. It is actually losing us money because people are getting tired of this formula." I wonder what shows made fans want a different type of fantasy. And a little fun fact. In a 2024 interview, Shirahama was told that fans consider her manga in this new fantasy big 3, and she laughed and accepted the honor with grace, saying she also loves Dungeon Meshi and Frieren. It's cemented now, the author knows about it, there is no going back, and seems I've collected them all. And with the history out of the way, it's time for... Okay, that scared me. What is Witch Hat about? The story follows Coco, a girl born into a fantasy world where humans are divided into 2 categories. Those regular common folk, and the witches who can perform incredible magic. The lamos and the cool kids. In this world, you must be born a witch in order to perform magic, but that doesn't stop Coco from falling in love with it anyway. Until one day, the witch Kifri, not Gojo, Kifri came out first, yet nobody, do your research, visits her house, and she sees him drawing a spell. That night, she mimics the process and discovers the hidden truth. Magic is not something you're born with. It's something anyone can learn as long as they know how to draw the correct spell. However, the reason why the witches hid this fact shows itself immediately because the spell Coco drew that night turns her entire house and mother into stone, as Kifri only manages to save her at the last second. From there, Kifri vows not to erase her memory, but to help her master magic so she may one day undo the spell that petrified her mother, as Coco now enters the world of magic she loves, but a world she is very much not welcomed in. And this is the crux of the entire show, the gatekeeping of knowledge, weighing the pros and cons of having only a select few know the truth about this world. And it's this thematic messaging that makes Witch Hat Atelier stand out from the rest of its peers and veer into the politically creative space. Because the curse of knowledge, or lack thereof, burdens us in the real world as well. Now you may be wondering, RJ, there's nothing inherently political about a made-up society having issues. You're just connecting the two because that's how you perceive the story. And at first, I thought the same thing, until you look into the reason why Shirahama likes fantasy and the fantasy she aims to write. Several fantasy stories focus on different things, whether that is the exploration of a dungeon or the aftermath of the defeat of an evil demon king. But Shirahama likes to keep her work a little closer to reality itself. In a 2024 interview, she states,
For me personally, what I like about fantasy is when the setting is based on actual history or an actual country from our world. When we look at the works from that time period, oftentimes there are parts of culture we can recognize and parts of culture that are unknown or unfamiliar to us. I think we generally go into it with some kind of preconceived notion. However, when it's set in a fantasy setting, you get rid of that preconceived notion and everyone can enter it with this flat and equal mindset because it's not an actual country or history that you're up against. It's a fantastical one, right? I think that is what makes the fantasy genre, for me, very appealing personally.
Shirahama has casted a spell on us. A spell to remove whatever we think we know and look at the world through a more objective lens. Her quote says a lot because it takes reflecting our world in a fantastical one to the next level. Let's roll out some examples to prove my point. One of the first things Witch Hat touches upon is class. The witches in this world are treated like celebrities and people above the common folk. Just look at the first episode where Kifi reveals he's a witch and the obviously rich girls start treating him differently. Even when we make it to the atelier, we can see how the witches are able to avoid slight inconveniences simply because they have magic on their side. It's raining and you want a picnic? Yeah, we're witches. Rain doesn't matter to us. Need to collect water? Don't worry about that well in the back. We have a contraption that can summon water. The location we're going to seems far? Yeah, just use the teleporting window in the basement. Or grab a pair of flying shoes. Even the English dub director, Emily Fajardo, understood the assignment, giving all the witch characters a European accent, but not Coco, making it immediately clear that these two groups come from different places. That's W directing, by the way. But are they really that different? We say that Coco is an outsider, but it is her creativity and love for magic that helps her pass exams and escape from life-threatening situations. Situations that she caused, but she's still learning. She's only just a kid. Give the girl some grace. She's new here. Out of all the students, Coco seems to be the best one equipped for the lifestyle of being a witch. That being the creativity of problem solving. Speaking of giving Coco grace, things can never be that simple, as this class system is not based on money or race, but the knowledge of magic. And that knowledge has a class system of its own because knowing about magic and being good at casting magic are two different things. When I say the creativity of problem solving, what I mean is not everything can be handled by fighting or being the strongest in the Witch Hat world. It takes knowledge of spells, the ability to draw them, and the fact that you have to draw shapes damn near perfect is a testament to how difficult this is. Because if you ever tried to draw a perfect shape, then you know. In episode 9, Coco says it herself. By drawing, you remember. By remembering, you become able. There is no simple solutions in this world, only the results of the efforts of hard work. But I think the character we see this the most through is not Coco, but Agat. Going to be a slight Agat defender here because let my girl live, she's also a kid. But Shirahama takes the concept of magic being art even further by exploring that magic, like all talents, needs to be cultivated. Again, it's not something you're born with. Looking at the very first page of the manga or the very first scene of the anime,
is an athlete from the moment they're born? What about astronauts or pop stars? You don't know what you'll be until you've grown up. So, is it the same for witches?
With this in mind, you kinda see why Agat has a hard time accepting someone like Coco. Imagine working your entire life to be in a spot, and then someone who is a danger to the entire community you grew up in literally fails their way into that same spot you worked so hard to get into. You'd be a little salty too. Being a witch is not easy, even with magic on your side. Some could even argue they have it harder since they have to follow all the rules this world sets around magic. It's the age-old question of how we should value the made-up statuses of our society. Because while I understand where Agatha is coming from, we also know that the system she values so much is upheld by a lie. A lie that keeps people who would have been talented witches like Coco out. And this is the main argument of the main antagonistic force of this story, the Brimcaps. I don't want to go into manga spoilers. I am caught up to the latest English volume release, but the Brimcaps are Shirahama's biggest political statement. Don't believe me? Well, let's let the lady speak for herself.
Just because those characters are portrayed as dark wizards, that doesn't mean that they are bad people. When I asked fans what kind of magic they'd like to use, often they said magic that would be illegal in this world, something that only the Brimcaps could achieve with their magic. For example, I have shoulder pain. I wish I could do something about that with magic, but that would be the way of the Brimcats. Those simple things that are a problem in your life could lead anyone on a dark path. I don't want to say those characters are going down a dark path. In that sense, I want to keep my comments limited on that point.
What she's getting at here without spoiling her own story is the nuance of their actions. It's not to say the Brimcaps are good people, but it is to say that not every rule broken makes a bad person. Why should the witches be the only ones with the knowledge of magic? They claim it's so the world doesn't descend into chaos again, but even they are a little strict with these rules. Look no further than the Knights of Morales and Istis, who's about to erase Coco's memories in episode 8 with little to no evidence or understanding of the situation. And who decided who got to live as a witch and who got their memories erased at the beginning of the pact? For every evil person you're stopping, there's a Coco you're limiting. And just because someone is following the rules doesn't make them a good person, as we see with Istis beefing with a 12-year-old and Kifri doing ominous things behind the scenes. But at the same time, the Brimcaps' methods are way too extreme, as these guys really did sick an entire dragon on a bunch of little girls. Someone called Gojo. His name is Kifri! A statement is being made here. There is a reason why you can understand the character's actions and condemn them at the same time. Should we not aim for a society where all humans are equal? And if that's the case, isn't Coco against not only the Brimcaps who seek to do harm with their magic, but the system of witches who upheld the system of oppression that gives birth to the Brimcaps in the first place and limits how much they can truly help people? Yes! If that doesn't sound political to you, then go outside. Open a book, scroll through the news, and I can assure you, you will find examples of how limiting knowledge has hurt us as a society and how everyone having access to knowledge has helped us as a society and also in some ways hurt us as well. Social media. Look no further than social media. Gatekeeping is not all bad. The anime community is learning this the hard way because there are certain influencers out there that we need to keep away from anime. But gatekeeping is a very slippery slope. One wrong move and you'll find yourself going too far. From the caste system to the relationship between the characters and the thematic themes of limited knowledge, this is political writing dressed up for your entertainment. And it works because it gets you thinking. I love thought-provoking stuff. Shirahama starts at a theme and builds from there. And because the social issues she's addressing in her story are layered, so too is her story. By now, I hope you can see how Shirahama taking this more political stance with her writing has bettered the story. But we can take it even further. Because this show gets the woke tag, and I don't even want to get into the definition of that word and how it's changed and how most people are using it wrong. Look up AAVE or Black Slang on your own. This is an anime channel. But Witch Hat Atelier gets the woke tag because Shirahama does the really cool thing by not only showing us how the different characters interpret and handle this nuanced issue, but also just having different representations of everyday people from all walks of life. Diversity, bitch! Witch Hat is praised for its diverse cast and representation because it never questions why those characters are there in the first place. It's a fantasy world. Why can't dark-skinned characters, disabled characters, and characters with different sexualities exist here? In other words, this story normalizes it. For example, take the disabled characters within the show. A cool touch that Shirahama does is that she doesn't label their disability as something to be fixed, but a different way to express themselves, just like all the other characters. They're not broken, just different. And we're all different at the end of the day. Honestly, one can make the argument that Witch Hat's diverse cast is not making any political statement by how it normalizes these groups. You won't get any Onyonkopo, why is your skin so dark, or so-and-so swings that way in this story. They're just there, like in normal life, just being people, as it should be. But unfortunately, reality is not so kind, so normalizing these factors is seen as a political statement. Side note, while I definitely welcome it, I don't think anime needs more black representation. I don't see that as a necessity, but I do think we should strive for better black representation. If you're gonna put us in there, then do us right. Less of Mother Crone from The Promised Neverland and more of Atsuko from Michiko to Hachi, or Homegirl I be seeing from Ichi the Witch. I haven't actually read Ichi the Witch yet, so should I? So I appreciate the designs like Juji, who hasn't been animated yet, but look at her. Her design is amazing. And Alaria too. So that's a healthy bonus for me. Anyway, back on topic. When asked about the diversity in her story, my goat, Shirahama, said,
I deliberately incorporated certain social issues and how to deal with them because I believe that every work created in a certain period also reflects the problems and structure of society at that time. Even science fiction works usually reflect the social issues of that time in which they were created. For example, I read Michael Ende's Momo, which also addressed certain contemporary issues. That's why I want to transfer current social structures into my worlds.
She's pushing agendas. I want people to have representation and have their issues heard. You monster! But seriously, I think this is why Witch Hat is so good at capturing certain social issues and is able to draw in a large crowd. I touched upon this a little bit in my last video about how the author of Ikoku Niki was able to craft the social issues in her story so well because she opened up herself to different worldviews. And it seems the trend is trending because Shirahama is cited doing the exact same thing. And shocker, but Witch Hat is not based on Japanese culture. I mentioned a lot of her Western influences earlier on in the video. She's even quoted saying that she's had Western fans in mind since the beginning because of her experience working in American comics. And if you follow Shirahama on Twitter, she gets involved and speaks out on several social issues and is not shy about her beliefs. In a 2026 interview with UNESCO, she brought up how manga artists using pen names have allowed women authors to be more active in traditionally male-dominated spaces of the industry. She retweeted and promoted a free Palestine aid and donation link, and this isn't a social issue, but she also live reacted on Twitter to every single episode of the anime when it came out, as if she was a new fan and she didn't write the story, and I find that absolutely adorable. W marketing, by the way. Even when I got to see her live at Anime Expo 2024, she brought up the importance of speaking out on certain social issues. I have got to start recording these panels. This is like the 5th time in a video I've mentioned I've seen the creator live with no footage to back it up. Like, damn it, past RJ. The author is political, and this makes the story political and better for it, because understanding the subject matter and human nature is one of the first steps when it comes to crafting a story. There is only so much suspension of disbelief that the audience is willing to give. It's the reason why a lot of anime fans can point to several characters and say, who acts like that? A character came to mind, didn't it? It's also the reason why anime fans can go the reverse and say, they're just like me for real, for real. Going back to the total complex relations between people in society definitions of politics, it may be controversial. It may be a tough pill to swallow, but damn does it make for some banger-ass stories and thematic messaging. Witch Hat Atelier is proof that a lot of people, myself included, resonate with that type of writing. If you pay attention to the world, you can naturally better reflect it. And reflecting our world for whatever purpose, whether that is to entertain, inspire, inform, or more, is the foundation of storytelling. I want to end this video with saying Witch Hat is more than a political statement, but you don't have to ignore the politics of its writing to enjoy it. You can do both. You can approach this work critically and enjoy the cute/hyped magical moments, but you don't have to. Just don't harp on the people who do. But this is my video, so enough of playing the middleman. Yes, this is my opinion. No, you do not have to agree. But this is an opinion I stand firm on because I guess I take art very seriously. And I think Shirahama may feel the same.
I want readers to think, well, if this is something that I also have an ability to do, what will I do with the power that I have in my hands? I know the story is set in a fantasy world, but the characters' world is real to them. When the characters have a real pen and ink in front of them, how will they use this power? I want audiences to think about that as they read my story.
Storytelling specifically is my passion, and so I love it when stories have something worthwhile to say. Not saying I can't enjoy the ones that don't. There are plenty of shows I love that are just joking around, looking at you, blah, 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 blah. But the ones that test your worldview, present political nuance, and get you thinking, ironically, or maybe not, will always be the first to come to my mind. And that's why I say stories are better the more political they are. Thank you so much for watching. I'm RJ Lane, and this has been On the Rise.